In today's video, I am finally upgrading my home's thermostat. Let's get to it. What's up everybody and welcome to TopShelf Media. First off, I want to apologize. I am just getting my voice back. I had a sore throat and no voice for a day or two, so if I sound raspy or sound terrible, that is why. But I wanted to get this video out for you guys. Today we're looking at the Nest Thermostat, and I've had this product for about a month now, and I just hadn't gotten around to making this video and installing it and all that stuff, but today is the day. Now, you might be asking, why did you go with the Nest Thermostat over the Nest Learning Thermostat 3rd generation? And to be honest, it was because of price. At the time of recording this video, Amazon was selling the Nest Thermostat for $99.99 with a regular retail price of $129.99, whereas the Nest Learning Thermostat was on sale for $221 with a regular retail price of $249. And I'll put links down to both of those products down in the description. But with that lower price does come a few downfalls. And for me, the main one is that this thermostat does not work with the Nest temperature sensors. And I really wish it did. I really hope that they change that in the future. The other ones we'll talk about here in a little bit, but let's get to the unboxing. And if you want to skip the unboxing and installation of this thermostat, I'll put the time code down in the description that takes you straight to where I'm just going through the thermostat and showing you the product itself. Man, I think this looks pretty sleek. I like the look of this thermostat. It is very reflective. I'll turn it around. Yeah, it is very, let's see if I can find a reflection. Look at that. Very, very reflective. I do like the look though. I think it looks really cool. But here we go, what comes in the box. So not only do you get the thermostat, but you get the paperwork as well as the base plate here. It also comes with a couple screws as well in here for you to mount this to your wall. That's basically it. So thermostat, base plate, screws. Really what you need out of this box to get this thing going. You have paperwork as well, but that's really it. So let's go ahead and get this thing installed. Okay, so as you can see, I have the plate off. It's sitting right here. This is what was on there, the Honeywell. Not a terrible thermostat by any means. I wanted a Nest smart thermostat. That's really all this one came down to. I did look, we should be compatible with the wiring and stuff that we have here. So we just want to get this plate off, the other plate on, get it wired up and get it installed. This should not take that long. So while I'm pulling this apart, I do want to point out that they do give you labels for these wires coming out of the wall. I did not realize they were in there while I was doing this, so I did not use them, but there are stickers to label the wires coming out of the wall so you do know where they're supposed to plug in at. As you can see, we should probably paint behind this. We painted when we moved in, didn't think about changing the thermostat, so this is gonna go here, so we are definitely gonna need to change the paint. I also need probably to get some wall anchors. I'm gonna get it wired up just so I don't want to worry about the wires falling back through the wall, and then that just creates a bigger issue that I really don't want to deal with. So let's go ahead, we'll get these rewired to where they were through here, and then I'll worry about getting it mounted. While I'm wiring this up, I do want to point out that earlier I did say that I checked the compatibility of this product with my system, and you should definitely do that too. You can do that by going to g.co/nest/works, and I'll put a link down in the description for that, but this way you can check to make sure that this thermostat is going to work with your heating and cooling system before you waste time installing it. Alright, so it's all wired up. We should be good to go. I just gotta get this tape off of here and then get some drywall anchors because I don't want to find a new place to mount this. We're just gonna do it right here because that's where the cable's running to. So let's just get this cleaned up and we'll get this thing attached and fired up. Like I said, not a hard process. Okay, plus side. So, checked for a stud, and there's one that sits about right here. Why they have this here, I have no idea. How they got it in there, I have no idea. But there should be a stud right there. Actually, it's just to the outside of the stud. That's how they got it in there. So I'm hoping if I can kind of keep this way just a little bit, I'll be able to hit that stud. It's gonna be very close. I have my drill. I have a small bit, just because I just want to see if I can hit the stud. I'm not worried about actually drilling the hole at this point. I will go back with the right size bit to kind of dig out a hole or to drill out a hole, so that way the screw goes in easier and I don't have to worry about breaking anything. But I do want to check to see if I can hit the stud from here. So I'm gonna do that right now. Oh yeah, I hit the stud. Okay, so I have a 7/16 inch bit now. I'm gonna go ahead, get this drilled out, get it mounted, and we should be off to the races. Rewire it up, because I had to pull some of the wires out in order to move it around enough, but we should be good to go. I'm gonna get this mounted up. Now I don't want to over tighten this because I don't want it to break. So that's why I am finishing it with a screwdriver. If that little drill would have gotten in there farther, I would have been happy with that, but it's just a little, you know, like I said, don't want to break anything, so I didn't want to use my big drill or anything like that to try and tighten this down. So in theory, we can get this bad boy mounted. There's a QR code in the back. I'm guessing that's to add it. They put QR codes on just about everything, Google does. And in theory, look at that. That's nice. Do this bad boy. Oh yeah, look at that. Now that this is installed, let's take some time to look at the thermostat. This is a 24-volt system, and before you install it, I just want to reiterate to check your system for compatibility. The first thing you notice with this thermostat in comparison to the Nest Learning thermostat, and what could be considered a downfall, is the lack of an adjustment ring around the outside of the thermostat to change your temperature. For this thermostat, you actually touch the right side and drag your finger up and down the right side of the thermostat in order to set it to the temperature of your choosing. You can also tap on the right side in order to bring up your menu, and this is going to display then for you the day and the time, the outdoor temperature, indoor temperature, and humidity. You can also use the same method of scrolling like we did to change the temperature to be able to go through this menu and turn on your heat, to set a hold, to turn on your fan, and go to your settings. One thing I love about this thermostat is that when you change it to a new temperature, it'll actually tell you how long it's going to take to get to that temperature. I must say, I do like the mirrored finish on the front of this thermostat. It does give it a really nice look, but you can see the LCD screen behind it depending on the angle and lighting. Overall, I think Nest gave us a thermostat that gives you a lower price tag without giving you a cheap product. Now, let's take a look at the app. And the first thing you're gonna notice here is that you don't use the Nest app for this product. It is all done in the Google Home app. Now, once you add the app, you'll actually get this thermostat icon up here at the top of the Google Home app. I do also want to point out that you can use this product with the Amazon Assistant by enabling the Nest thermostat skill. So by clicking on the thermostat icon here, you bring up the main thermostat screen in the Google Home app, and you can change your temperature by clicking on the plus or the minus sign. It'll change it by 1 degree at a time, or you can use your finger and slide it across up there to change your temperature. From the screen, you also have the option of changing the mode, as well as turning on your different temperature presets, setting a hold, so that way if you want it to hold a temperature, if you're for some reason home at a different time than you normally would be during the day and you want it to hold at your comfort temperature for that period of time, you can set that here, as well as your fan. And my fan turns on automatically, so don't need to set that there. Okay, we're actually gonna change this up to 65 for now, and then we can go up here and click on settings. Now the first thing you're gonna notice here is that I have a message up top that's saying that I need a C wire for this thermostat. The C wire provides constant power to the thermostat, and without it, the thermostat will work, but it will turn off the wake up on approach and it will decrease the battery life. However, mine, the wake up on approach is working, but if we jump down to the thermostat menu down here and go down to wiring, you will see that it does know that there is a common wire attached. It's not empty like this one. It does know that there's something there. So this is just something that I need to figure out. But moving back up to the top of this menu here, you have your device information, which is exactly that. There's nothing special in there. I'm not gonna show it to you. It's just a page I'll have to blur out. Next up, you have your sharing. Now what that's gonna do is if you click on that, it'll show you your household. If you click on household, it'll show you who in your household can use this product. Next is notifications, and if you click on that, all this is an air filter reminder. What you can do is tell Google when the last time you changed your air filter was, and based on your system usage, it'll tell you when you should replace it again. Under device features, first up we have presence sensing, and you can see here that I actually have it turned off, and I think this is something that I will use in the summer, but it's winter now in Iowa and the last couple days have been in the negative, and the presence sensing on this system was prioritizing the home or away settings over my schedule. So when I checked my thermostat from work at 3:37 and at 3:30 the temperature was supposed to change from 60 degrees to 70 degrees and no change had been made because no one was home, I decided to disable it. Next up here we have the thermostat, and if you click on thermostat, which we've already looked into a little bit, all this is, it gives you information on if you want to be able to change it from Celsius to Fahrenheit, if you want to have the clicking sound. So I don't know if you can hear this, but whenever I click here, it makes a little clicking sound. So you can turn that on and off there. This is where you can set your wake on approach or on press. You can configure all of your system settings here by clicking on heat configuration. So we have gas and forced air here. Click on wiring like we did before just to show you the wiring. So that's really all that's on this menu. Next up we have temperature preferences, and when you go into this menu you can actually set your temperature presets just by clicking right here, and you can click on, let's say I want to change comfort, and I can change the temperature for heating and cooling that I want for that preset. Now, if I go back here, you have your safety temperature. So if your house gets below 40 degrees or hits 40 degrees, it'll actually automatically kick on the heat just to keep pipes from freezing and stuff like that. Next up, you have early on, which I have turned on for an hour early. So what this allows you to do is it starts heating or cooling early to reach the temperature at that scheduled time. So if I have it set to at 6 o'clock in the morning, I want my heat to change from 65 to 70, then it will go ahead and start that at 5 o'clock just so that we're at that temperature, or at least closer to that temperature at that time. Next up, we have airwaves. And all this does is automatically shuts off your compressor at the right time and uses the fan to spread the rest of the remaining cool air throughout your home. So that way you're not using more energy than you need to. After that, you have the time to temp, which is basically that setting that allows you to see how long it's going to take it to reach that temperature. And then we have the leaf. And what the leaf does is it just shows you when you're using the lowest amount of energy. So like if I take this here and drop it down to 64, you'll see that leaf pop up there on screen. That means that I'm using basically an eco setting. I'm using less energy than I otherwise would. Now next up we have schedule. Now schedule is just that. All it does is it gives you a week view here and it shows you what times you're changing to what temperatures. So in this case, 6 o'clock today, my temperature went to 70. And then at 8:30, it changed down to 65 because typically no one's here at this time. And then at 4:30, it will jump back up to 70. But remember, I do have that early on setting on, so it will start heating an hour early just to make sure we're at least closer to that temperature at that time. One thing you can also do that is really nice is if you change, let's say I want to change today, I want to make the eco 60 degrees rather than 65. I can go down here and then I can hit copy Tuesday and I can paste it to whatever day I want so that it copies over to those days as well. And finally, we have the energy dashboard, which is really handy. I wish there was a little bit more data here rather than just basically your time used throughout the day. But as you can see, it's been running basically all day. So in this screen, what you're looking at here is you can actually see a day view, a week view, and the month view. Now that it's, because it is the beginning of the month, you can see that there's not much data there, but you can see that it's ran for 67 hours in the last, 3¼ days. So, I mean, that's a lot. So obviously my house is not very energy efficient. It's something that we will need to address here in the future. Now, one thing I really like about this system is how it integrates with your Google Assistant. So if I just say, hey, set the thermostat to 65.
Okay, setting the living room thermostat to 65 degrees.
Set thermostat to comfort preset.
Got it. Setting the living room thermostat to your comfort temperature.
You can hear that my furnace kicked on because I'm not too far from it, but you can also see that it's telling on screen how long it's going to take to get to that preset. And just to go off the fact that this does work so well with Google, I love that I can just say things like, what's the temperature in my house?
Heating is set to 68 degrees with a current temperature of 69 degrees.
So I love that I can use this feature just from across the room. And like I said, it works well with Google, and it should. It is a Google product. Google does own Nest, so these products should work well together. The other thing I really like is that because I do have the touch screen here, I can actually do all this stuff from touch from the Google display as well, changing temperatures and all that kind of stuff. So it is really nice. I do love the integration with the Google system. So for my final thoughts on the Google Nest thermostat, overall, I like it. I think it's a budget option that still does what it's supposed to do, and that's help heat and cool your home. Now, this thermostat doesn't have that learning aspect that the Nest Learning thermostat does, but to be honest, I'm okay with that. I don't think I want my thermostat making decisions on heating or cooling my home based on one choice that I made one time for one day, and then just going, okay, this is what we're going with from now on. I like to have that control, hence why I turned off the presence sensing on our thermostat, because it wasn't following the schedule that I set. So there you have it. I am happy with this purchase. I do need to figure out that C-wire issue that's going on, but other than that, this thermostat's working really well. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing and ringing that bell to get notified when I post new content. If you like this video and want to see more videos from me, YouTube thinks you'll like that one right there, so go check that out. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next video.